Understanding the right matrix can transform your strategy without additional ad spend. Today we're going to talk about KPIs or key performance indicators, which will transform your brand success. So let's dive in. Alright, so first of all, let's get into the basics because some of you guys don't really understand the basic and you want to get into this advanced stuff. So first of all, think about your follower counts. These are just not your numbers, alright? This is literally the reach of your brand. And but solely only thinking about like the quantity can also be misleading as well, because if you post a photo and if you're getting no likes, no comments, and no shares on it, it just means that your brand has zero engagement and you got no loyal customer base. So for the basics, if you want to know that what is your like brand's loyalty, let's focus on like three factors: likes, comments, and how many people are sharing your posts. Next, analyze your content's reach and impressions. Reach is the number of times it has like reached the number of accounts. All right, and the impressions is the number of times it has been viewed. All right, so it feels like the same kind of thing, but I promise you it's not. So if you post a video and for example, let's say you got like 100 views, it has reached 200 people. Regardless if they have watched like 200 times, all right? Everybody has watched twice, but it still would show 100 views because that's the number of people you have reached. That's how like Instagram kind of works. Impressions is like how many times they like watch and repeat. All right, this is how like impressions and like reach work, but they do look the same, but they're like completely different things. All right, because if you're like reached 100 people, it just means you've reached 100 people. But if you're like viewed multiple times, it means that people are really interested in your content. And maybe if you're like a higher impression rate than your reach, maybe consider making more of the content, keep posting. Conversion metrics are like equally important, I would say. So let's talk about like CTRs and conversion rates. CTR means click-through rate. Like for example, you have a product, you post it on Instagram, you make a post, and how many people are like clicking on it, it just like means that how many people have clicked on that and went to your website through that click. But the conversion rates signifies how many people have purchased the item after they have landed on your website. So CTR and conversion rates are completely two different kind of categories. If you have like a high conversion rate, it just means that your product is just way better. All right, it just means that people want to like buy a product. Usually your CTR won't be like that high as well. I would say if you're like posting on like a YouTube video, maybe 5 or 6% of CTR is like a great deal. But if you're like Instagram, maybe it will be a little higher. It depends on your like niche, what you're posting. So it just depends on like category to category. It's really hard to like identify a product and like tell what is a great CTR for this product. But like a high conversion rate after your CTR, I mean, how many people have clicked on it and how many people you have converted, it is like completely different from like a CTR. So a high conversion rate is really essential if you're like selling online and your like sole business is only selling online. Now let's talk about a little bit of finance, because me as a business professional myself, I'm not a business professional, I'm just a student, But anyway, I don't talk about finances as much as I talk about marketing or other stuff. Because as a business owner yourself, if you don't have your finances right and you're just spending this bunch of money on like marketing, you're not gonna like achieve anything. So it's like really important to know your finances as well. So just to like start off, you just should know two of the key components of like your finances to just get your finances right. First is CAC, which is customer acquisition cost, and the second is CLTV, which means customers lifetime value. So CAC means how much money did you spend to get a new customer, and CLTV means how much value are is this customer is expected to generate you through their lifetime, since they're like loyal to you or they're not. Depends on every customer, right? So if you're like spending like a bunch of money just like on like acquiring new customers, and you're like you're not focusing on like retaining your current customers, you're actually like losing money, because like getting new customers uh is like costly, and you have to like spend a lot of money to get a new customer, right? So it's like really important to like you're like retaining your like current customers, because on average, one of the brands that I like saw a while ago, it was a beauty brand, and they were like spending on average like a $1.50 to get one customer. But when I saw their like finances, they were not like generating enough CLTV from them, even they were not generating enough value from their customers. So it's just like it's not just about like a Instagram trending thing. It's just about like more of a financial stuff. Sometimes it's really good idea if you have like a retaining customer, just focus on him. Audience demographics provide a clearer picture who engages with your brand, because understanding the age, location, their gender, their interests is like really important for your brand. If you're like you are in this any kind of a business, you already know what kind of customers you got. But if you're like new into any kind of a business, it's like one of the most important things you can do, because let me like break it down in like a language that probably you can understand. So let's take an example of my channel. If I know what kind of what kind my audience is, I can probably target a better content to them. So for example, when like let's say 25 to 30-year-olds watch my YouTube channel, they don't, but just for instance, let's like think about it if it was true. So it will give me a better picture about my audiences, and I can make content that will please this audience. And this audience is gonna like click on my video, and then YouTube is gonna see this kind of people like this content. For example, they like Hamza. We should like recommend more people like them to this video. Whatever people you're like targeting to, you can like target more people of that kind. It's just really important factor if you're like running a business. To like get more customers is like the best thing you can understand about your business. Sentiment analysis offers insights into the public perception of your brand. Whatever it is, it might be positive, negative, or neutral. Monitoring that is like really important for your like brand's health, because it's literally what whatever your customer think about your brand is. All right, so think about it this way. For example, you launch a new product, and one of your regular customers have a really bad experience with that. They go to Instagram, post user-generated content or UGC about your brand, and say that, oh, I have a really bad experience. So whoever the regular customers are and like regularly check the hashtag of your brand, know that this is a regular customer, and if they're having a problem, it's really a big problem. So what happens? The sales of a brand go down. So if you're like monitoring the public sentiments regularly, then you're not gonna have this problem. And like maintaining a positive sentiment is essential for your brand's growth in like early terms, I would say, at least, because you don't have a lot of engagement, and whatever engagement you have is literally defines your brand online. So you have a small audience, they communicate with each other, and whatever the perception they're gonna have about your brand is literally gonna last in the long run. Engagement rate is calculated by dividing the engagement rate by total followers, and whatever the answer is, it is the effectiveness of a content to your followers. So the higher it is, the better it would be. And it just means in simple terms is that how relevant is your audience finding your content. All right, if you're like posting and posting and posting and not getting any results, it just means that your content sucks and you have to like do a better job at like making it, because a lower engagement rate means literally translates to their followers are not clicking on it. It's not generating any CTRs, any likes, comments, shares, nothing. So it means you don't have a loyal customer base. Monitoring bounce rate is another essential feature. So bounce rate, I'm talking about your website. Bounce rate is whatever the people have like landed on your website and you haven't got any conversions out of that landing, so they're like bounce back. So having a high bounce rate just means that something with your website is wrong. So you have to like go fix it. It might be that your product isn't visually appealing enough, or your like website isn't running properly, or anything else. It literally could be anything from like the marketing aspect to coding aspect. And find it as soon as you can, because people are actually liking your product and clicking on the website, but they're not purchasing anything. It just translates to your website is not good enough. Trying fixing it would solve a lot of your problems and generate higher revenue. Finally, keeping an eye on SOV or share of voice about your brand is really important, because at the end of the day, what your brand actually is how much attention it can grab. In digital age, any creator or any brand is famous because the attention that they're like grabbing overall from the audience, whether it's like positive or negative. I don't actually recommend negative, but even if you're getting a negative attention, it's better than no attention. Now, I'm not saying just mix some formulas and like make some product that like burn people's skins, but if you're like getting any kind of attention, at the end of the day, it's gonna be good for your brand. By focusing on this matrix, you can refine your social media strategy. After this video, you probably do understand, all right, I do have a big number of like reach, but what does this big number translates to? It's like a completely different story than reaching a high number. So some of the times it's really important to like just retain your like small customer base, or sometimes it just becomes like a bread and butter of your brand to get as much attention as you can. It just depends on like brand to brand. And if you're like a brand and you like want us to find out what your brand strategy should be moving forward, should you like retain a small number of clients, or you should focus on like huge numbers, just get as much attention as you can. We are best in the game for like beauty businesses especially. So there will be a form down in the description. Fill that out and we will see if we can like help you. If we cannot, we'll recommend somebody else to you, or if you cannot find somebody else, we will apologize for like wasting your time. Pitch your idea and let us see if we can help you, to be really honest with you. Because in this beauty brand like businesses, it's like really hard for like new businesses, because like market is really saturated. You have to be like really unique to like stand out nowadays in the market, in the beauty industry especially. So any kind of brand you got, cosmetics or like beauty, skincare in general, just reach out, pitch your idea, and we will see if we can help you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you, and I'll catch you in another one. Peace.